Fun!
Are we ready? Good? All right, let's do it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. How's the convention so far? Has it been fun? All right. Enough of that. First, let me introduce myself, and then the other fine people at this table will also introduce themselves. My name is Silvermane, and I'm the journalist and pony convention liaison for the military Brony group, FOB Equestria. For those of you who, woo!
Yay, no one knows who the hell we are.
For those of you who don't know what FOB means, it stands for Forward Operating Base, and it usually means a remote location where military members are stationed to accomplish a certain task that doesn't require the construction of a permanent base. So anyway, like I said, my name is Silvermane. I've been in the military in one form or another since 1977.
He's old.
I'm not old. Old is 5 years older than me. Yes, right now I'm in the Air Force as a senior master sergeant. I first got in the fandom in mid-2012, and as far as I can tell, Fluttershy is still best pony. All right, time for introductions, and we'll start.
We're starting on that side.
Start on this side.
Okay.
Start on this side.
All right. I'm one of the military bronies from the documentary with Mike Brokoff. My name is Michael Rice.
Hi, Michael.
All right, guys, first I gotta ask, is there anybody in the aviation community out there? Sweet!
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
All right, I'm GTR. I'm kind of the FOB gaming guy. It's kind of falling off, but 6 years in the Army. I was a Black Hawk crew chief, and now I'm flying helicopters for the University of North Dakota.
Yay.
Okay, my name is Tavor. I know I spoke to you a lot yesterday, so I like to see a lot of faces. I'm seeing all of you out there. I'm the FOB community and networking guy. And the duct tape wasn't important, huh?
It lasted for an hour. Give us some credit, all right?
What could possibly go
Well,
wrong?
anyways, why have we fixed this? Okay.
Pay no attention to the man behind the mirror.
Okay, the way this works is if we have one thing go wrong, everything else will be perfect. So we're good for the rest of the con now.
A laptop on or something. He said without tempting fate at all.
You got the big Funko bio. All right.
It's fixed. You saw
Okay.
nothing.
Even though we're all recording. Anyway, so
If you
I'm
see
Tavor,
something,
I'm the
say
community guy,
nothing and drink to forget.
I'm in the Air Force myself, so I'm a lieutenant with the Air Force. And yeah, I love BronyCon. I've actually been with the fandom since the start of it, and one of my earliest memories is flying over from Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa, and actually playing around with the Generation 1 ponies on the plane when I was younger. So I go back all the way, actually.
Yay.
Hey man, is that a first lieutenant or second lieutenant?
Second lieutenant.
How did you even find your way here?
Oh. Yeah, there you go. Hey, okay, you've all heard it. You can't spell lost without LT, so let's just get out of the way and say it.
Nobody gave him a map. That was the whole trick to it.
I flew
You
him.
gotta know how to use a compass, shoot back azimuths, dead reckoning. That's how you need to do it.
And then you ask a private where you're at.
And that's the most LT thing to ever be said.
Then we're good to go. All
right.
right, so I'm
Oh, we're on me now.
We're on you.
I'm APC, the aerial party cannon. I'm 7 years and some change active Army. Obviously not anymore. Worked on AH-64 attack helicopters. I hang around the FOB. That's really all I do. I don't really know what my qualification is to be here, but
He's the FOB party pony.
He's the FOB drunk.
So I'm Moto. I've been in for about 2.5 years now. I just showed up in Korea and drank with this guy, and I got here.
It's funny because military people are alcoholics.
It's a true fact.
Alcoholics
All
go
of
to
us.
meetings.
All right, I am Josh Gorcher, and I will be leading your period of instruction this morning. We will be talking about military stuff. In case of emergency, the fire exits are there, and there.
warn them about the trip hazards.
I'm sorry, are we doing something?
Also, I have
Don't you know?
to ask everybody, is anybody here looking for Josh? I was. All right, good. We got some.
All right, my name is Sonnerhoof. I'm your.
He's our
Toast.
favorite.
He
Thank
is
you
our
so
favorite. He's so cuddly.
No one gets hugs. I'm your friendly neighborhood moderator. That's why you don't get hugs. I hit you with a ban hammer.
True story. True story.
I was in for 6 years. I just recently got out, got my discharge papers from the Marine Corps. I was data while I was there, and I like to help out the FOB by being the moderator and keeping you people in control.
He tries.
He tries so hard.
So obviously we're working with very few microphones here. But I'm Spangle. I've been with FOB since 2012, I guess it was. Yeah. But joined the Air Force back 6 years ago. I am an aircraft mechanic on C-130s. Unfortunately, not AC-130s, but you know, you can still make do. Joined the community in about late 2011. Been with it ever since. Love it, and it's been a real fun ride.
There's a key note that Spangle, in addition to being head of literature, is also head desert sand ninja. So.
Yes, he is.
Is he cybernetic too?
All right. Introductions out of the way. Here we go. As I hope all of you know, this is a panel exploring the questions of whether or not Equestria has, in fact, military force, and of some kind, and if so, what form does it take? In fact, we have a slideshow for that. Right there. Yay for slideshow.
Death by PowerPoints.
I hope it'll work.
It's
Death
not a
by
briefing
PowerPoint.
if you don't have a PowerPoint.
I know, right?
Death by PowerPoint.
As you heard, this panel is being put on by the fine folks at FOB Equestria and approved by this organization that you might have heard of. Yeah! Whoa, right? But before we get to the fun stuff, we have to go through some non-fun stuff. It's not too bad. Just a few slides of legalese. The lawyers made us do it.
We strive for
I think I
accuracy.
pointed out the fire exits.
Look, we are here to give you the great military experience that you're
Yeah.
all looking for.
In fact, here's the first legal slide.
Everyone will be forced to hydrate before you leave the panel.
This panel, we don't want to get Hasbro mad at us. So, this panel's discussion is a product of the preservation only in the North Face views, opinions, policies of the United States Army, or any intentions thereof. In other words, it's just us up here talking. We're not representing any military entities at all, in no way, shape, or form. All right. This says that we love Hasbro, and they do great, and we think they're the best things ever. And, in fact, I, for one, welcome our new Hasbro overlords. And to make sure everything is nice and legal, I'm going to put Hasbro's logo up here a whole bunch of times, and wherever a copyright image appears, we can say that's where one of the logos goes. So here goes. We'll just be safe here. Everybody loves Hasbro, right? Hasbro. All hail Hasbro.
And Josh Gorcher. And
Yes.
Josh Gorcher.
If you guys have your bingo sheets, go ahead and mark Hasbro for all the songs.
Yes. Hasbro, 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 Hasbro.
And those are the sheep that you just became.
We're really just trying to see how much of this stage we can destroy before the end of this panel.
I think we're on a good start here. So.
Also a military tradition.
Really? This wasn't in our preview.
I made it up yesterday, late at night. Shut up.
You
All
could.
right.
It needs more
Good
Hasbro.
idea, Barry.
We
You
can
could
get
say it
started
wasn't
finally.
very-
Hasbro is happy. I'm happy. Everybody's happy.
Of course, there's a smile.
All right. My little army, theories are magic. All right. Before we actually get into the question of whether or not Equestria actually has a military presence or not, it might be desirable to clarify just what a military is. In general terms, in the United States anyway, it's basically this. A group of individuals trained, supported, and sanctioned by the government, usually with civilian oversight, whose job it is to carry out the government's policies or directives by use of force. I know, right? Use of force.
Actually, it is the 4th coming up soon, so.
Actually, if this was Star Wars, you'd be clones.
Oh, I gotcha. Boo.
Fun fact, we're all alcoholics, so that might be true.
All right. When we're doing this panel, to keep things fairly simple, we're only going to use sources from the show itself, because using fandom sources such as FimFic would quickly lead to madness. So, canon sources only. Also, during the panel, we'd really appreciate alternate theories and ideas from you guys. Again, as long as it's not stuff like, well, KCAT says in Fallout Equestria that X, Y, and Z happened. We're also going to leave off the subject of the Wonder Bolts until later in this panel. They're kind of a topic all by themselves. The ability of a society to actually have the infrastructure to support an army depends on a few factors. Number one is the level of technology. A primitive society where sharpened stick is the height of weapons technology would more likely field a mob rather than an army. Second is the presence or absence of law enforcement and medical personnel. A society having these services suggests a level of government involvement where a viable military presence with civilian government oversight may be possible. So, what kind of technology does Equestria have? Well, we know they have electricity. There is a hydroelectric jam shown in several episodes, like right there.
You had to show it from Marydewell, didn't you?
Your favorite episode, everybody's favorite episode, right? Plus it's got Rainbow Dash in it.
So, hold on.
Don't worry, I like
You're
that.
saying
I
that
like
the
that
episodes
episode
without
too, don't worry.
Fluttershy are not the best episode?
It's hard to say. It's got electricity in it, so it's cool. But
Just checking.
Fluttershy is in there. It's run by Magic. Yeah. And we also see electric lamp in several scenes, like this one from Read 'em and Weep. Yeah.
I sense a bias.
Do you?
I do.
There are also X-ray machines, at least in Ponyville.
How do you know that's not magic?
I don't know. It's because it's not magic. Because reasons.
This is our headcanon, not yours.
Yeah.
No, party howitzer, please.
Yes. All right. We also can see that they have water service that the images from this slideshow suggest. Fire hydrants, water faucets, that kind of stuff. And we kind of tell they have indoor water service because of Rarity's P-trap that Spike so helpfully pulled out from under her seat.
Best pony.
Best pony.
Sorry, that's not how you say Vinyl Scratch, but okay.
Oh, we can't start Best Pony discussion this early. We only have an hour.
Best Pony's not in this shot anyway. Yeah. They're all Best Pony, right. As for transportation, we know that there are steam-powered trains and at least one pony-powered train. We can also see an example of what looks like a steam-powered vehicle. The Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000. Non-pare. Well, the machine's operated by Magic, but I think the actual transportation's steam-powered.
Oh yes, didn't you see like the plumes of smoke? Like
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
actually,
we
you
do
can
have
actually see it up
steam
there.
when it comes rolling into town.
Yeah.
If there's smoke, there's fire.
Okay, on the subject of law enforcement, there's very little in the show. Basically, all we have is Sheriff Silverstar in Appaloosa. As far as Ponyville is concerned, their usual reaction to any sort of danger is to run around in circles and scream and yell. Go ahead, sir. Right, with his flashlight in his mouth. Chasing Screw Loose around. Barking mad. Barking mad.
orderly?
Yeah.
I think he had a badge.
I'm pretty sure that guy was an orderly.
The one that was chasing Barking Mad around?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was orderlies. They had the orderly looking thing on. One thing that is a very big indicator of the presence of an army is the presence of firearms. Of course, MLP being a children's show, anything like that, they're not going to show. But there are cannons in the show. We know Pinky has them. Yeah.
And cheese sandwich.
And cheese sandwich has a giant one. That's more like artillery.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
it's
party
a
houser.
Field artillery. Obviously, they were developed for other things than pinky firing confetti from. We know Equestria possesses gunpowder because we can see it in several scenes, like this one right here.
Now, if I can actually pause here, this is actually one of my deals. This kind of indicates that there's some kind of historical, there is warfare that is going on at some point in equestrian history.
Right.
Just based on the city itself. We have something that is clearly built for siege warfare. It's got a cliff bordering one side, it's got a mountain bordering the other side, you got a moat in front of it. They're trying to keep somebody out. So it indicates that things were not always so friendly.
Oh yeah, Discord, remember? And
He's just gonna float over them.
T-Rex and stuff.
This is true.
T-Rex, yeah. But this is
All the
basically
Pony villains.
season 3 stuff. And the pony
Who
armor in
says
the
the Griffins have to be
basement of the
bad
castle.
people? Goodness.
Children, focus.
Don't talk
All right.
about Black Griffin that way.
Like I said, law enforcement, all we have is basically Sheriff Silverstar. I know that in season 4 they did show, looked like policemen in the cheese sandwich was in the disco room when they were dancing on the floor and they looked like cops there. But I didn't get a slideshow for that.
Oh yeah, there were also cops in the Equestria Games.
And arrows.
Yes, we did have cops at the magic area where they were disarming the unicorns as they passed through. So, yeah,
And
there
the
are a few
TSA
other areas
scene
we can see
with
exist.
But that was the Crystal Empire, not Ponyville, which really doesn't have anything except running around in circles and screaming and yelling.
Well, hey, that's what we all do, right?
Right. Exactly. Let's see. Aside from that, there aren't many more references to firearms. I can only think of one more, and the scene from Made the Best Pet Win, Rainbow Dash wants a pony that can, quote, fly faster than a bullet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, tank could either be a mech probably is a mechanical tank rather than a.
I'm liking you. I'm liking the historian here. I'm a historian myself, so.
Yes, he is.
Also, bullets are something you can use on a paper as well.
Bullet point.
But super fast. You seeing how Word does that? You just hit enter and it just pops right up. It's speedy.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah, well, she said Romeo, too. Let's see. Aside from that, blah, 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 pest would win. Other than that, spears and arrows seem to be the dominant form of weaponry, especially with the royal guards, which brings us to the subject.
After watching season 4, you should definitely see unicorns use their magic as weapons.
Yeah, they do. They can throw, especially with Spike. He gets thrown by magic more than anybody, I think.
Yeah.
Poor Spike. Let's see. Besides the Wonderbolts, the closest thing we can see to a military presence in Ponyville is the Royal Guards. And it seems they are more of a group tasked with protecting the Royal Sisters in Canterlot than an actual military presence, as the Royal Guards seem to have 2 specific jobs, none of which is exactly military in nature. One set of Royal Guards is tasked with protecting Canterlot, but seems to be okay with Twilight and the other ponies arriving at Canterlot by train. Although the city is being protected by a force field, they let them right through. Yep. And compare that with the scene in where Twilight confronts Shining Armor about Miamor Cadenza. Obviously, the guards at the castle itself have orders to let no one in there, not even the pony who by that time had saved Equestria twice and was even on a giant stained glass window in the castle. We see ponies.
Brother to go congratulate. Yeah, congratulate.
Now, I just want to point out in the previous scene the idea cross spears to try and
Yeah,
stop
she's
the train.
They let her right through up until the part where she gets to the castle and they want to stab her to death. These right here letting her through.
I've got something to say to you, mister.
Instant death!
See, let me say something about that. As somebody who actually did base security, this makes sense, because what happened here is that Twilight Sparkle stupidly passed through the kill line.
She did. She passed the red line.
And I had standoff distance, man.
You'll see she's about 300 yards out. So as soon as she gets beyond 300 yards, dead. She's absolutely dead. No choice.
And I had to stop it before he goes Twiley. But yeah, public service hour. Corn dog.
Corn dogs are awesome.
Why do we not have corn dogs?
Thank you.
We should have corn dogs.
We should
We
have
should
corn
have
dogs
corn
on this
dogs.
panel.
That'll be a thing.
If anyone wants to buy us
Yes,
corn
next
dogs,
year we
take
will
them.
have corn dogs.
I have money.
There will be corn dogs. Corn dogs for everyone.
You get corn dogs. You get corn dogs. You get corn dogs.
We all
Everyone
get
gets
corn dogs.
Oh, buddy.
Be sure to check under your seats to make sure there aren't corn dogs there already.
All right.
If there are, don't eat them. We didn't put them there.
Well, the Royal Guards are in Ponyville. All they are concerned about is protecting the princesses, again, even from a pony who helped save Equestria and has her image on the stained glass window. This slide's a little derpy, but it does sort of work.
Too good. I'm bored.
Sort of work. Sort of.
Halt! Who goes there? No one. Never mind. I'll go home.
Yeah, they don't know who Fluttershy is. Okay.
Why did you choose that to freeze on?
I think the expression is looks like she's
Stares
getting
into my soul.
No, it looks like she got her head cut
This
off.
is season
why.
1. This is season 1.
She sees Flash Sentry.
Yeah, she sees Flash Sentry. Oh.
I thought we were going to mention Brad. We don't mention Brad.
Oh, Flash. The end.
Flash Sentry is an alicorn in season 5.
Done.
All right. Like, from what I can see on these, it looks more like the Royal Guards are just almost like the Secret Services. They're concerned with protecting the princesses, but they're not really a military force. I know they salute shining armor, but that's just to get them out of there, I think. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, it sounded like two swords crossed. Ka-ching! So they have metal wings, apparently.
Or maybe it's a cartoon and they were trying to be funny.
That also brings up something to look at here. The guards are always one thing that we're always looking at. They're always the same. When you look at them, they're almost always the same. The only scene that was different was the one where Twilight was running up, right there that we just watched. You saw black and white. Well, here, I mean, what are the wings? I mean, do you see unicorns? Do you see Pegasi? I mean, what really are the guard? Are they all the exact same, or are they clones like you said earlier?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Well, a fan theory is that there's some kind of enchantment in the armor that makes them all look the same.
The reason they all look the same is that Celestia put a spell on the armor, so whenever when he's wearing the armor, they all turn white with the same eyes and everything. But then there's
Uniformity. I like
Yeah.
that.
Kind of similar to when we wore the uniform.
Go ahead,
Yes,
sir.
but there's a small problem with that theory. Flash Sentry.
I don't think so. If you think about it, Flash Sentry is in the Crystal Empire, so. Well, so that doesn't necessarily mean that.
Clap for
it doesn't mean
Tweak.
that
Tweak,
Celestia-
everybody.
Tweak, 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 everybody, tweak.
Tweak.
What's going on in here again?
Nothing special. We've been waiting on you. What do you think's been happening here?
Hey, I'm doing important things though. I'm keeping everyone in this room safe. You're all gonna survive here because of me. You know why? Why?
Safety belt.
Okay, let's give a hand for Tweak here with his BT belt.
Hey, Tweak, they can't see your. They can't see it. Yes,
Fun
they
fact, BT belts reflect bullets.
They do?
We're not worthy.
Worship me! Oh, sorry.
Let me tell you a quick Tweak story. Last year at BronyCon, it was about 8:30 in the morning, Friday morning. Wasn't even opening ceremonies yet. Main hall upstairs, back where it was. I go in the main hall, and there's Tweak's face, 20 feet tall on both screens, getting interviewed by the news before the convention even started.
I'm public affairs. It's what I do.
It's what he does.
No, that was.
For those who don't know, drill sergeant is a temporary assignment. It's 2 years, and you go do other things. By trade, I'm a public affairs broadcaster, so I'm the one that makes sure that your families hear about all the cool stuff the military people do, and I keep you from looking like a complete moron in camera. Which is ironic, since what I do for a living is I look like a moron in front of the camera. But
And he sacrificed his hat to Michelle Kraber.
yeah, and Michelle Kraber broke my hat.
All right, sir, you've been waiting. What's up?
I've also noticed that since in this particular episode, since all the guards are Pegasus, I'm thinking that's a rapid reaction force.
But yeah, all they did there was guard there and look for the Philomena.
Well, still.
Hey, guarding a princess is serious business.
Yeah, guarding a pet's serious business.
Are you going to send non-flying unicorns after a bird?
This is true. Get the butterfly wing enchantment.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be Pegasus.
I'm glad we got our ex-drill instructor here because the next subject kind of has basic training things in it a little bit. We're going to talk about the Wonderbolts.
Yay!
All right. There are obvious similarities to the Wonderbolts as a military organization, starting with what looks like a sort of Wonderbolt basic training, which is right here. Tweet rages every time he watches this, Mark.
And it's Rainbow Dash again.
It's gonna be sweet. Wing up.
Keep your back straight, you.
Yeah, this is gonna be sweet.
She said naively.
No one says that going into basic training.
No. Well, look there. It's bulk biceps. Yeah.
Yes,
Bulk biceps is my trigger.
I think you got what it takes to be
Snowflake.
a flyer. Yes,
Snowflake.
well then, let me be the first to tell you.
Okay, I think there's no way. There are no drill sergeants that adorable. All right.
Still think you're something
Except for me, of course. No, I'm kidding. I'm hideous.
Like your hot stuff? You look like you're the worst flyer in the whole academy. You'll probably quit after the first day.
No, ma'am. It's the second day.
Equipment.
And she saved her life, by the way.
You could
Right.
miss the first play
From-
without getting winded.
Giant mute. Oh, yeah, because Rarity's so tough she can knock out 3 Wonderbolts.
Because she's the best pony.
Yeah. Okay. Now, a lot of people, this next one coming up is what I think a lot of people might imagine basic training is like. So it's, I don't know how many people have seen this.
Oh yeah, this is awesome.
Is everybody ready? Yeah. All right, here we go.
I am Gunnery Sergeant Hart. From now on, you will speak only when spoken to. And the first and last words out of your filthy sewers will be sir. Do you maggots understand that? Sir, yes, sir. Bull, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair. Sir, yes, sir. If you ladies leave my island, if you survive recruit training, you will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death praying for war. But until that day, you are pukes. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian.
Yeah, cut off
We
right
had
there.
to keep it safe for Woona, so I stopped it right there. I know.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's not like that nowadays. Basic training. It's more like just louder, scream louder.
And a lot more cleaning. So much cleaning.
The problem is because ponies can't do the knife hand, so they can't properly instruct.
I would imagine
Is that a
he can
club
hike,
hand?
but,
Is that what we're going with here?
Yeah, the knife hoof. I guess you can't. They do it.
I don't know. It's more like a threatening gesture because you can't do this anymore in basic training because this is a threatening gesture. You can't point at them. You can't even do this.
They still do it.
We totally don't do that anymore.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I got out in '75 out of the Army, and even today's booze is nothing compared to what it was like back then.
It's nothing like it was when I went in 10 years ago.
I mean, excuse me for saying that, it's a lot more wussyism than what it used to be.
No, dude, we get it. Trust me.
Sir, I believe the words you are looking for are back in WW hard.
He just called you old.
I know it. Now that's making it so easy, even women. No, I'm seasoned. Whoa.
I'll say this. I will say this, though. I will say this, okay? Silver here has a friend you can count on. Someone his age and his wisdom.
It's
and everything
so.
else.
You're riling up the drill. Please don't do that.
That's his trigger, by the way.
I'll hold you.
We're good. Continue.
As far as the Wonderbolts go, we see them kind of reacting to things. I mean, Giant Mutant Spike shows up and they get caught by a water tower. Rarity falls from the sky and they all get knocked out. Other than that, they're really not
So
around.
they pretty much are an analog for the Air Force.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to find a 7-year-old kid and bring him up here if you're not careful.
Spangle, you got to fight for your honor right now.
I'm maintaining military bearing.
You're doing an excellent job.
Later. We're biding our time.
Like I said, we don't really see them doing too much military stuff. They got this little basic training looking thing they do, and then in season 4, Rainbow Dash goes and testing 1, 2, 3 and does a whole bunch of EUP history. But other than that, we really don't know what they are. They're more like the Blue Angels than a military. They're there for morale boosting, I think, because everything outside Ponyville is like a horrifying wasteland. I think there's monsters everywhere and no law enforcement.
I don't see the attack unless provoked.
Yeah.
You have something over here?
Just something I've noticed. Maybe it's possible that all of Equestria is an organized paramilitary, like Sheriff Silverstar organizing Appaloosa and something like militia against the Buffalo tribes. Maybe it's organized like that all over Equestria and the Praetorians just for Canto.
My little Halliburton.
So more like what you're saying is a National Guard, where individuals can be called up from like a reserve status or something, but everyone acts out of the common defense.
Essentially, like with law enforcement is some kind of like organizing group.
Okay.
Neighborhood watch magic.
It seems for the most part we have a whole lot of Michael Bay going on here. There's a whole lot of soldiers there that pretty much their only purpose is to get knocked out to make the evil guy look more powerful than he actually is.
They're all red shirts.
Until Optimus shows up.
Absolutely.
Nice.
That's it for me.
No, I mean, continue.
Get on with it.
That's all I got.
Thank you,
Yeah, you guys take over.
All right, fine. I guess we could do a question and answer ceremony at this point.
Apparently we have run out of material.
I got one more, but I get in trouble if I show
Concludes
it.
your period of instruction.
All right. Well, anyways, one thing I want to say is if you look at these ponies right here, the one on the left when they come in, some screens, you can see kind of a cutie mark that looks almost like the Air Force symbol. So, I mean, like the Air Force is almost in the show and only branch like that.
And then
Speak up.
Yeah, just trying to make yourself feel better. It's
I think
okay.
in the when there a scene,
I'm trying.
When there a scene in like the Candlelight Wedding, when there was 2 Marine ponies standing off to the side. Well, they were getting married. I think I know that was in there.
Yeah, but they're not like dressed in dress blues or nothing. It's like somewhat similar, but that's just
Yeah.
because Marine uniforms look freaking sweet.
That's because you guys just stand around and look pretty. We got black and red color scheme going on. Black and red always looks good.
Basically, the Marines are like the red and black OC Alicorns.
Oh no!
Stay on topic.
Stay on topic.
Stay on topic.
We have no topic.
My personal theory is I think that Equestria used to have a thriving military, but then once the main 6 came along, Celestia kind of looked at this, one-button super move and said, "Hey, I know how I can save so many tax money, so much tax money," and then. Yes, thank you. It's early for me too.
Equestration, sequestration.
I think that's what it is. Like if you can say, "Hey, Twilight, go take care of this crap for me," and then she doesn't have to maintain this entire military, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Well, now we're unemployed."
Right.
Which I think is kind of contemporary commentary. I didn't mean for that to be alliteration, but
wireless mic to carry around.
Yeah, we don't have a wireless mic.
Well, here, let's actually go through on some of our different.
Let's start a
thoughts.
line over
Yeah.
here. Let's make this military organized.
You gonna run
Right
for
here,
us?
questions?
So
You want to bring a microphone down?
Okay, so if you have any questions, you'd like to
Yeah,
stand
come
in line
on
with us? Come on up. Come on up. Deal with the beautiful sound here.
They cut us off.
Form a line, gents. Form a line.
Don't get in front of the
Your feedback in Maine.
All right, here we go. We're going to start the questions.
It's not a military organization unless everything goes horribly wrong. So.
Oh, we got it back? Okay, we got it back. I think it just... Oh, it's got tape on it. That's a dead center.
I wish.
All right, here we go. First question.
I just wanted to add comment can to this discussion.
Hey, quiet down for a second, guys. We want to hear the questions.
Hey, stop!
Obey the hat. Oh, there is no hat.
Did somebody just call him sir?
Okay. Pro tip.
Stay on topic.
Do not call a drill sergeant sir. Do not.
He's not an officer. He works for a living.
All right, here we go. First question, please.
I was wondering if it's okay to add comment can to the discussion because there's a few interesting things like Fluttershy shooting a pirate cannon when they're all pirates for a little bit. And there's like a most recent comic, Manhattan had a police force. There are some interesting things like the Shadow Force attacking Canterlot. Like mostly the citizens fought. There's only like a few guards for some reason.
Yeah, we actually kind of made it a point to stick solely to the show canon, just because the comics kind of go off on their own little tangent for like so long. It was just a whole can of worms that we weren't sure we were going to be able to really incorporate everything.
Despite being awesome.
The comics
Amazing. We love the
themselves aren't
comics.
actually canon either, so.
Yeah.
What was that?
The comics aren't actually canon.
Secondary canon.
Yeah, they're secondary.
Party cannon.
They're alternate universes.
All right, next question, please.
All right, we've seen very little of the Griffins aside from Gilda, who apparently just wiped out the Griffin race from our rage, and a few dignitaries, like for the cake contest in the Equestria Games. Like we can assume that the Griffin nation is like a foreign, kind of like Russia or China or something like that to Equestria. How do you think they achieved peace with that nation? Like through lots of warfare, or with Celestia using her magical beam and diplomatic skills?
I want to mention, it was all thanks to pastries, because in Equestria, all wars come down to pastries. But I want to say, I personally really get tired of seeing the Griffins constantly as the enemy in Warfix. Okay, I just know, Dustquill, I love you like a brother, but no, it's just like we've seen one antagonistic Griffin, and okay, that means all of a sudden that they're all, two? Gustav Le Grand was just a jerk. He wasn't even antagonistic. He was proud of his accomplishments, and he was confident in what he was doing. Antagonist.
No. He was actually a suspect, not an antagonist.
Exactly. That was racial profiling, man. You always gotta watch out for them Griffins.
Well, no. Listen,
them Griffins will get you.
If you think
no, but
that
I was white. I always had like the headcanon. They're like, because we see them competing in the Equestria Games. I've always thought that the Griffins are like, close allies with. And then maybe like Diamond Dogs are the big baddie. They could be like North Korea or China. I would say more like China, where they don't really have the best equipment, but they just got a crap ton of people.
Well, let's face it, North Korea would be like the Dragons, because we all know they have those.
Well, yeah, but dragons are like what I'm looking for here. Dragons are like, okay, we need a really powerful bad guy to show how cool our heroes are. Dragon. It's real quick. Speaking of griffins and warfix, my buddy back there, Duskquill, wrote a really, really good story called The Griffin Wars. So if you ever go to FimFiction, read that story because it's awesome. It's pretty much the best modern warfic on that website.
This panel is brought to you by FimFiction.
All right, let's go next question.
Next question.
Okay, guys. First off, I just want to say thank you for your service for the military. Huge support and everything. I meant to ask this last year, but Solar Empire or Lunar Republic.
Too far, gentlemen. Too far.
Now kiss.
Oh, just go play volleyball.
All right. We apologize, sir. We will be returning to you.
All right. So his question for all of us was Solar Empire or Lunar Republic.
What was the question? No one.
His question for us was our personal preference: Solar Empire or Lunar Republic.
Well,
what was the question one more time?
Solar Empire and Lunar Republic. What is our preference for person?
Luna.
It appears to be Luna.
Cadence.
Okay.
If we say solar, do we get out of the room safely?
In all fairness, they're all great, but we do know Luna is best princess.
Big Mac is best princess.
Okay, Big Mac is up there, but still.
Go ahead.
Well, my
is
personal
best
answer would have been.
princess.
I
Thank you, sir.
In the context of the season 1 pilot, I think we would have all had to have been the Solar Empire. In that context. All right. Next question.
It's for Josh Scorcher. I remember when you were saying in your, I think it was your Return to Harmony review, when your Marines gave you that Brony shirt, you said you were going to hurt someone. Did that ever happen?
In my mind, I was hurting them.
Total lack of payoff.
Yeah. In my mind, I was hurting them because I'm not a very violent person. I just pretend to be. Yeah. And I pretend to be a jerk on camera because that's funny. And I don't know. It was just more embarrassing if anything else because you just wake up one day, go to morning formation, and just find out, hey, everyone saw that video you made about ponies. Everyone in this entire unit, here's your badge. And then they also try to tease you about it. It's like, haha, you're a brony, haha, you like ponies. It's like, shut up, I'm famous.
Horse famous.
That's the best kind.
All right, let's get the next question.
From what we've seen so far, we haven't noticed any Earth ponies in the Guard. What are your thoughts on that? What? But that's the Crystal Empire. What about the Equestrian Rail Guard? Because I don't recall seeing any.
I think.
Whoa. The Earth ponies are all probably deployed doing actual work while everybody else stands around and looks pretty.
Nope.
All Earth ponies, E4 Mafia for life.
I think I can actually answer part of that question. It actually relates to our little design with the little Royal Guard pony on our shirts and stuff. Yep. If you look at it, the mane and the horn actually kind of go together, and it's not always true that the horn is actually even real. If you look at some of them, it's really weird because it just immediately blends together, and artistically, I don't think most people can tell a difference. So it may be that there are lots of like you heard with those razor sounds with their wings and stuff. It may be that there are lots of Earth ponies. They just have equipment instead.
So what you're saying? There's Pegasi cosplayers, Earth ponies.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't help their case. I mean, if they have the horns on there just for decoration, I mean, what are they saying about class equality?
I actually have something to weigh in on that.
So there have been, I've been told
by many people I've served with, that the military occasionally gives people guns with no ammo, especially maintainers, and it's a show of force. It's to look scary, but you really can't do anything. And basically that's because if it comes down to you, yeah, basically stormtroopers. So basically if it comes down to you, it's you and the lunch lady trying to save the base, and you're already screwed.
Okay, I do want to say something while we're on this topic as well.
Closer to the mic. Closer to the mic.
Okay, well, one thing I do want to put out there, and this is the first time we're actually doing this here at BCon, is we are offering, and you can see the designs here, these are the FOB Equestria official challenge coins, okay? So basically, basically, if you're looking into these, this is something that we're offering up for the fandom itself from FOB Equestria to help not just support us, but to support all service members, regardless of nation or branch, even though Air Force is better.
This panel is sponsored by FOB
But
Equestria.
anyways, we are offering these down in the vendors hall until the end of BronyCon. We do have a limited stock, okay, under 100 of them here. Last year we put these up for the charity auction, and correct me on the prices, but one went for 600, the second one for 800, okay? So anyways, if you can see that, probably not, but look down, booth 306, ARC, booth 306. We are offering them there for $15, okay? It helps to support the vendors, and it also helps to support everything else. So if you're interested, there you go.
I've got sort of a question slash theory I'd like to have your opinions on. One thing y'all didn't point out when you're talking about history was we saw back in Hearthwarming Eve, the three original tribes were at each other's throats, and the original Pegasi were based off of like Greek and Roman culture, and they were the only ones who had like the full-out armor, and they had escorts for their dignitary, and they were led by Commander Hurricane. So we know that there was some sort of military conflict back in Equestria's past.
Okay, I can kind of jump in on this one if that's your question.
That's part of it.
Okay.
But another thing is, if the more we see of their world, the more we see of how things are going, they may not be able to have a regular standing military as we understand it, because look at all the threats that they've had to face. A regular standing military, just of regular normal ponies, wouldn't live for very long against some of the things that they've had to fight. Ursa Majors, Quarry Eels, freaking dragons, and then you've got stuff like T-Rex, the Changelings, and Nightmare Moon, Discord, all that kind of stuff a regular military wouldn't be able to stand up against without at any point in time. So they may not have anything other than the basic Royal Guard for emergencies.
Okay, well, so
and so my basic theory is what do you think of that? Do you think that would be an explanation why we haven't seen any Royal Guard, because they just haven't been able to field something that could stand up against everything?
Okay, yeah. Well, one thing I did want to point out is I love the Hearthwarming Eve episode for this, because they really go into kind of the past, especially, and basically, when you look at this, it's more of a feudalistic society. You see that the Pegasi are the ones who provide the defense. They're the ones who watch everything and deal with the threats. You have the Earth Ponies who are providing the support. They farm, they put the product out there so that all the others can exist. The unicorns are the ones out there who deal with the weather, deal with creating the environment so that everything else can be fostered, more the aristocratic society. So this kind of harkens back to the medieval periods that we see with human society itself. And it is interesting, because if you do look in the episode, you can find two screenshots, which we don't have, but where one is you actually see a formation of these Pegasi guards from Hearthwarming Eve with spears attacking some foe. And there is lightning there as well. You can see in a quick screenshot on the left-hand side when you're looking at the city. So you do see tactics, you do see weaponry there, and you do see a lot of other things like that. So I think it is a valid point to consider it, but also to say at this time, this was before Equestria was actually founded per se, so you don't see the Royal Guard in its form. You see more of the individual caste structure. So.
This gets back to what I was saying before about how I think that historically Equestria did have a large military, but I think it's been like a drawdown recently because of the new types of enemies that they're facing. Like, kind of like how nowadays we can't just have, full out, nation versus nation world war. It's like a different kind of war now.
What we've ended up with now is a Power Ranger theory, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, rapid fire. Here we go. Until the Megazord shows up.
And rainbows.
I was a
curious what you guys thought of in Lesson 0. Maybe I did that atomic nuke thing, and I was wondering if like maybe someone like in the past could have, like Twilight and Trixie both specialize in magic. Do you think that there's someone in the past who could have actually done that as a part of the military, or
Star
could
Swirl.
have been an opposable threat? Like,
Yeah, we haven't seen Star Swirl yet, and I mean, my official canon is Jon Stewart, so whatever. Anyways, we haven't seen him come in yet, and there's a lot of other characters that we haven't seen put in the show. So when season 5 comes out and explains more of this, we could rightly see exactly what you're saying. So I mean, it is a distinct possibility.
I'm just talking about like the nuke in particular, like someone who could do the nuke thing, or.
Okay, you got to keep in mind that while the main 6 are very, very special characters, that they're not average everyday ponies. It's like and they can do things that are not ordinary ponies can do. Like Twilight is very good at magic, and she can fire off attack spells like no other. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's common for other unicorns to do. And also, we need to keep in mind that Rainbow Dash is very good. She was the first pony to do a sonic rain boom in like what? I don't remember. How long was it?
As a filly.
Yeah.
Question: what do you guys think? Since there is a lack of military or police enforcement, did you ever think of the theory that the ponies almost do a purge? No.
The darkest timeline ever.
They in fact do the purge only during Nightmare Night.
All right, this isn't gonna be a silly question, is it?
Now you know why they run.
Okay, shining armor, good or bad commander, can or not wedding, overrun, Sombra out of commission. What do you think?
I think that Shining Armor was the best example of an officer we've ever seen in the show.
Take that as you will.
Okay, so I was wondering, should I become a second lieutenant and go to Annapolis, and I want to be a Marine, or should I enlist as an NCO? Because I don't want to be a 24-year-old second lieutenant.
God, enlist.
So, first thing is...
Okay, like I've been to this kind of question before. In all honesty, go officer. Because I tell you, look, number one, the military academies, West Point, Annapolis, the Air Force Academy, they're all the top, among the top tier in the country. You're going to get an education second to none. Any place you go after the military, your resume is going to turn into pure gold. And on top of that, you come in as an officer. Do you realize that if a 03 captain, an 04 major retires, he makes more money than a command sergeant major E9 that's been in for 35 years. You make more money, you have a bigger impact on the mission, you can have more opportunities. As much as I love being an enlisted guy, I say in all honesty, go commission. It's the best thing for your life.
And besides that point, look at the faces of the enlisted members up here and tell me they look like they've been filled with joy for the last few decades.
Hi. I was just wondering, like, throughout the show, we've seen like different types of like military technology. Mostly, like, whenever the Royal Guard come up, it's usually like primitive technology, medieval spears, bladed weapons, kind of like that. But in other scenes, like when it's more maybe even the comedic episodes, I know you could explain, oh, it's just a cartoon. But I mean, like in one when like Weird Al came on, there's like he's running through town in a freaking tank. So I'm wondering, like, what's your? I guess I know technology is like one of the major arguments in the show. Like, in your opinion, with like military technology, like your opinion of their standing currently, and also like the impact of like their heavy reliance on magic. Like maybe like one day a threat could come up that maybe have technological superiority that may be able to overcome that. Do you think that that's a deterrent?
One thing to consider with technology is, as far as like specifically American and modern standards, technology is pretty much available to everyone. Romans had fantastic technology, the Incans had fantastic technology, but it's all kind of a mystery. If we look at it kind of like it was only available to those who had the resources or those who had like the privilege to have it, then we kind of see like, yeah, society can have technology of varying, like drastically different technologies, just simply like a couple hundred miles away. just simply based on like people doing the research or doing that. So if we look at, we take that theory and we apply it to ponies, we can see like, yeah, well, certain people would have the technology and others might not. You know, we have like 17th century like candles and stuff in Ponyville, and then a hydroelectric dam for some reason. So
Yeah.
And lights.
And just to add on to that quickly, I mean, if you ever study like the history of technology, technologies have always been developed to fill in gaps of a need that human society has needed. The reason why you don't see ponies carrying around clunky rifles and heavy ammo that can jam, it's because they're unicorns. You could kill somebody with mind bullets.
So, after being interrupted multiple times, I'm going to speak my piece.
My question is, in Rainbow Falls, I'm pretty sure that Rainbow Dash was technically a cadet in the Wonderbolts, so doesn't that mean Spitfire could have ordered her to fly with them instead of being all shifty about it?
well, if you don't get picked up, then you're not a Wonderbolt. She was a cadet, and she's going to the reserves now. So
I think the more point of that is that the Wonderbolts Academy was not really, I don't think it's not a good allegory for basic training, because after that, she pretty much never did have anything else to do with them. I think it was more of like, JROTC or like a training camp, somewhere you kind of go and experience it, and that's probably where the Wonderbolts are like, scouting people.
split ops for the National Guard.
Next.
Soviets ran that for years, man. It totally works.
What would be your battle plan if Queen Christialis impersonated the president and invaded the United States with an army of changelings?
Actually, in this, if you have seen the possible season 5 spoiler, that is. Okay.
Don't go there.
Okay, I'm not gonna go there, but that's my official headcanon. So.
Next.
Okay. One more question, please.
I was wondering if Equestria actually in its ancient history had an effective and modern military, but because they've been at peace for so long that all the units have either been deactivated or sent into a ceremonial role like the Wonderbolts or the Royal Guards.
Okay, so going back to the Heartswarming Eve thing, you can tell that they were most likely some kind of militaristic. The Pegasi had, I forget what the word is when you're run by the military. It appears that is what happened. Another thing that I wanted to point out that a lot of people seem to miss is that just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means we haven't seen it on screen. We didn't know they had helicopters until we saw, I think it was Pinky flying in a helicopter. So you just need to understand that there could be a lot of things that they do have and we just haven't seen it. If they have a standing military, if we haven't visited any of their bases, we wouldn't know it's there until we see it. So I do believe that they do have a standing military and that historically the Pegasi were a very warlike society.
Okay, we have one more thing for you before we conclude today, okay? This is something that we want to make sure it gets done, so APC, if we could have you help out.
I am totally innocent in this endeavor.
Okay, so basically, we have a special person on FOB Equestria here that we've always loved and admired, and he's always been a great
Oh,
moderator.
you shouldn't have. Oh, no, sorry.
But anyways, this is something that we've been putting together with FOB, and this is only part 1. But this has been top secret until now, and this is the first exclusive view that you're going to get. And what we know is that toasters have been a FOB staple since the beginning, and pretty much something that we started.
Yes!
And as you can see, this is what we are displaying for Saunter Hook, our lovely moderator. So, enjoy the toasters, and I'll let him speak for a second here.
I'm going to say this. I hate all of you. There
we
will
hate
never
you
be
too,
a
Saunter.
toaster in my house. I will use everything with blenders and microwaves only.
If you have no clue what's going on, just Google toasters and ponies, and you will find out.
No,
you won't.
Okay. Anyways,
wrong
we do have one more part for you to show before we conclude today. Again, this is another thing from the FOB that we want to display, and this, as you can see, is top secret Saunter project. And
There are
remember,
more toasters in his
like
future.
I said, I like what I do because I am good at it, and so are all of us. But okay, here's the thing: Remember earlier in this panel, Saunter said something about band hammers. If you remember this, he's the one who said it. So I want to show you something that we put together.
There are more toasters in your future.
I hate
Saunter
you
is a
most of
former
all.
Marine, so keep in mind, we have something called an EGA, Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. We have it customized and personalized as the Saunterhoof EGA with a band hammer, his lovely Rainbow Dash toaster, and on top, with a meter.
Everyone's favorite
So
eagle.
for now and forever, whenever you refer to Saunter, this guy is Semper Saunter. Semper Fidelis,
Semper Saunter.
Semper Saunter. And this is signed by all the members of FOB Equestria here.
Oh yeah, the toaster stuff isn't going to go away, Saunter. I mean, we're going to implement that into the Tumblr comic.
Thank you
It has.
very much for this lovely
His cutie
piece
mark
of
should have
art.
been a toaster on that poster. His cutie mark, he should have been a toaster.
Thank you very much for this lovely piece of artwork. I'm going to pee in your canteen.
All right, ladies
right,
and gentlemen,
so
we're getting.
Okay, we have to wrap this up.
Thanks for coming out and have fun with us. Thank you.
for coming, everyone.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Applejack is best pony.
No! Twilight Sparkle.
Twilight Sparkle and Vinyl Scratch.